Russia is preparing defensive positions across the Kherson region in anticipation of further Ukrainian advances in the south. Here are the latest developments. Russian forces are building up their defensive positions in Kherson. Officials say they have completed the evacuation of the city. Ukrainian counterattacks are being held up by bad weather in the Kherson region. Ukrainian forces have made smaller gains in the east. Ukraine makes breakthrough in south against Russia. Ukrainian troops are being hampered by bad weather after breaking through Russia's defenses on the west bank of the Dnipro River in Kherson. Russian officials in Kherson say they have completed the movement of civilians out of the city. At least 70,000 people are reported to have left their homes. The evacuation may be in support of Russian plans to blow up the Kakhovka dam to cover their withdrawal, according to the Institute for the Study of War. Russian forces have been building fortifications and defensive lines in the city of Kherson and Nova Kakhovka, which lies on the river's east bank. Ukrainian troops have been attacking bridges, ferries, and pontoons in recent weeks, attempting to make Russian positions on the west side of the river unsustainable, and thereby force a withdrawal. Also in the south, the International Atomic Energy Agency IAEA has called for the demilitarization of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Ukraine has accused Russian military personnel of working on a dirty bomb at the plant. The Russian leadership has in turn accused Ukraine of planning a dirty bomb attack. Russia's military took over the power station in early March, but it is still being operated by Ukrainian staff. Ukrainian troops took control of the key logistical hub of Lyman in Donetsk at the beginning of October and have continued to push further east towards the region of Luhansk. The ISWL says they have made substantial gains in the area, with Russian reports suggests their next target may be the city of Kreminna. Analysts say the loss of Lyman was a major setback for Russia. Reports from the Russian Defense Ministry posted on Telegram say its forces have repelled attacks on several fronts in the region, killing 400 Ukrainian troops and destroying combat equipment and ammunition depots. Russian forces have been trying to push towards Bakhmut in the eastern Donbas region. The latest fighting follows a major Russian defeat in the east. Ukraine says it recaptured 6,000 km2, 317 sq miles of territory from Russia in early September, when it forced back Russian units in the Kharkiv region. Russian troops withdrew from the key towns of Izium and Kupiansk, saying that the retreat would allow its troops to regroup. Both towns were major logistical hubs for Russian forces in Donbas. Earlier in October, Russia appeared to shift tactics, targeting Ukrainian cities further from the front line, with missile strikes for the first time in months. Russian forces used Shahed-136 drones, recently purchased from Iran, in the attacks, as well as ballistic and cruise missiles. Attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure by Russian forces have triggered blackouts in major cities, including Kyiv, Lviv, Zaporizhzhia, and Kharkiv. The latest Russian attacks come after Russian President Vladimir Putin accused Ukraine's security services of attacking the Kerch Bridge in Crimea. Ukrainian officials have not indicated whether their forces were behind the attack. The 19-kilometer 12-mile bridge, the longest in Europe, is an important supply route for Russian forces fighting in Ukraine. The bridge has since partially reopened for light traffic. Russia has ordered repairs to the bridge to be finished by July 2023. 4 regions of Ukraine that are partially or almost completely occupied by Russia have been annexed by the Russian Federation. It follows self-styled referendums in Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhzhia, held between 23 and 27 September. President Vladimir Putin has said that Russia will use all the forces and resources it has to liberate the 4 regions. In an address to the Russian people, Mr. Putin said his country had various weapons of destruction, adding, "I'm not bluffing." Russia invaded Ukraine on 24 February, but Ukrainian forces retook large areas around Kyiv in early April, after Russia abandoned its push towards the capital. Areas in the west of the country, including Lviv, have seen missile attacks, but no attempt by Russian forces to take and occupy ground. The Russians have suffered heavy losses since the invasion began, and significant quantities of Russian weaponry have also been destroyed or captured. To indicate which parts of Ukraine are under control by Russian troops, we are using daily assessments published by the Institute for the Study of War with the American Enterprise Institute's Critical Threats Project to show key areas where advances are taking place. We are also using daily updates from the Ministry of Defense and BBC Research. The situation in Ukraine is fast-moving, and it is likely there will be times when there have been changes not reflected in the maps.